going on, everybody? Today, what we're going to do is we're going to put money back in your pocket. How about 8.6%, right? That number means nothing until I tell you. But what if you could earn 8.6% without working harder, longer, or you don't have to take any risk? What do I mean? You don't have to invest in the stock market to earn this 8.6%. You don't have to take on risk. You don't have to invest in crazy crypto things that you have no idea about. What is 8.6%? Well, that's what we're going to get into in this video, part 2 of this whole sequence, showing you how to pay off your debts, pay off your mortgage, and build your retirement. That's exactly what we're going to do today. But before we do that, let me ask all of you for a major favor, and that is click that little subscribe button. And also, there's a little bell up top. Whoa! Thought I was going to take that one. Smash that bell when you get started. But also, I'm going to use this as an intro for my guests. We got Christy Van, smash the bell, Christy. Harrison George, smash the bell. All right, folks, thanks for joining us for this episode where we're going to show you how to build your retirement, but how to build it without having to do anything different because you've paid off your debts. Part 1, that's what we showed you, is how to erase and pay off all your debts in a fraction of the time. Now, I understand some of you didn't see part 1, so we're going to kind of show you how the Vault, the software using Velocity Banking, the all-in-one, and I know you're probably like, well, what are those? We'll get there. And the infinite banking concept will show you how to actually erase your debts and take that money back. But before we get into it, let me turn it over to Mr. Craig Yenny, the man who is supposedly good in the sheets. He's going to talk to you about the Vault and what we covered last time. Take it away, Craig.
Hey, thanks, Chris. And what we talked about in part 1 was just a debt sample. Yours might be different. You might have car loans, student loans. But what we want to do is talk about the strategy, the recipe for how to get out of debt. So imagine, if you will, these were your debts. We had over $78,400 of debts, an average interest rate of 8.67. We're paying over $1,265 a month in just debt payments. So what we wanted to do is talk about what are those different payoff strategies. So go back to part 1 if you want to get into more detail here, but we talked about, what if you do the no strategy? You just kind of throw money randomly at your debts. You don't really know which one to pay off first. Maybe you keep on the regular schedule that the banks and credit card companies want you to stay on. 181 months to pay all that debt off. You're paying over $1,265 a month in debt payments. And on that $78,400 of debt, you're adding another $30,516 in interest only. Now, what we talked about was step 1, let's build efficiency into your debts, which is simply classifying them and putting them into the most efficient order to pay those down. And our Vault tells us that the Avalanche is the most efficient in terms of time and in terms of the amount of interest that we're going to pay in getting rid of these debts. So instead of $30,000 of interest, we're at $22,000. Instead of 181 months, we're at 80 months. Now, we don't want to stop there. We talked about Velocity Banking. We talked about using the all-in-one as our Velocity Banking tool. And we can knock those debts out in 21 months, not 181, not 80, but 21 months. And then we're going to take a couple months just to pay back our Velocity Banking tool, which was our all-in-one that Harrison was talking about. So in 23 months, using Velocity Banking only, we're debt-free. We spent about $5,124 in interest. And so this is our speed component of getting out of debt. But we didn't stop there because we don't want to just stay at 0. We added infinite banking into the mix as well. And so what we were doing is saying with infinite banking, it would take us 27 months to get out of debt and about 75 months to get out of debt and pay our policy back. So instead of paying over $30,000 in debt, in interest debt, we paid about $11,000 to $12,000 in interest. So when we take the debt avalanche, which is efficiency, we take infinite banking, which is wealth building, and we take Velocity Banking, which is speed, and we combine them into what we call the debt blaster trifecta. We're doing all 3 strategies at once. We're done with our debts in 10 months. We take 11 more months just to be honest bankers and pay our policy back. We take 2 months to refill our Velocity Banking tool, which is our all-in-one. So in 23 months, we're done with all of our debt. We've recapitalized our policy. We're now ready for wealth building. We have $1,856 of cash flow that we previously were using for debts. We have that for wealth building. And we have over 31,551 of cash value built up inside of our infinite banking policies. Now, what if something, God forbid, happens during this process? Well, there's a death benefit coming along the ride, over $500,000 of death benefit. So this is what we talked about in session one, is just how to accelerate those debt pay downs, how to bring efficiency, speed, and wealth building all to the process of getting rid of your debts. So with all of that said, I want to take this back to Harrison and have him share a little bit more about the great tool that you can use for velocity banking called the all-in-one mortgage. So Harrison, back to you.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate that. I mean, that's so incredibly amazing that that individual is saving almost an additional $30,000 in interest. Instead of having that money just sit idle somewhere else, they could put it into this first lien HELOC, this all-in-one product. That product at the end of the day allows for every dollar that person has in savings or in income, extra income of about $1,800 a month, get applied to their principal balance. By that money getting put into their principal balance, paying that balance down from $300 to $270 to $250, they still have access to that money to deploy it for whatever they see fit, whatever they know, like, and understand. And at the end of the day, that money could be deployed into many actions, such as rental properties. Sometimes we've seen people put this into buying vehicles and deploying those vehicles as a Turo rental model. And realistically, as that person is using that money and deploying it into different vehicles, not cars, but income generating vehicles, that allows for them to pay that debt off even faster and can potentially deploy it in for many other things. I mean, Christy, what do you think?
Let's look at infinite banking. I mean, that is what I use my lines of credit to do, is to increase my wealth by using the infinite banking concept. I think that it has been one of the most freeing things financially in my life that I have encountered, because I have 3 daughters and I want to make sure that their future is secured financially. So not only do I have the policies on myself, but they're on my children. And guess what? When I'm gone, they're set up financially. That makes me so happy, because that is what a parent is supposed to do, right? We're supposed to get our kids ready to live in this world. So the idea being of using that line of credit to fund. I've funded this stuff in so many ways so quickly because I have used the velocity banking strategy with these lines of credit that's funding my policies. I'm excited. I'm sorry, I'm just an excited person, and I really enjoy what I've run into here with not just velocity banking, but infinite banking. So the idea is that you can build wealth with the line of credit, and I've not found anything to beat that concept.
Thank you. I think one of the most important things for all of you that are watching to take note of is we reverse engineered exactly where a lot of you are. Now, this was just an example that Craig gave, but he had somebody that was $78,000 plus in debt, paying a bunch of money. It was going to take him a long time to pay that debt off, to the tune of over $30,000 in interest. That's money that you would normally not be able to use for your retirement. You wouldn't be able to use that for building wealth, for taking and setting your kids up, or nothing. That is money that is wasted. So what we showed you is, by using these processes, velocity banking, the all-in-one product by CMG Financial, and the infinite banking concept, in doing these different things and then organizing the way you pay your debts off, all through software. Again, that's a lot to take in, but you're doing this all with the software called the Vault. What you are able to do is pay your debt off in a fraction of the time. So now that adds a lot more time back to stop worrying. Now all your debts are paid off. And if you followed what Craig was saying, you not only paid your debts off, you refilled your line of credit, right? You're all in one. You refilled that. So now all that money is there available to be redeployed, but now you don't have to redeploy it paying debt off. You also built cash value inside that specially designed and engineered whole life by using the infinite banking concepts. This trifecta put you in a really great place to start building wealth, start planning for your retirement, because literally you've got $1,800, a little bit more than that, of freed up cash flow. Now, when I say freed up cash flow, that's money you were giving away before, money you were paying to third-party debts. That money is now hitting your bank account and now could be redeployed. You could use that to fund your retirement account. You could use that to buy real estate. You could use that to buy cars and then use those for Turo, like Harrison mentioned. You could use it for investing in anything you know, like, and understand. But the most important thing to understand here, remember earlier in this video, I said 8.6%. That return, that wasn't a return. That was the money you were giving away, the average of all those debts that you were paying, 8.67%. That's right. You're giving that money away. Now you're repaying yourself because you're being an honest banker. And in repaying yourself, you're taking back control of 8.6%. That was just money you gave away. You're now making that. But let's take that to the next level. Now you've got your home equity, right? You're all in one, fully ready to be deployed. What are you going to deploy that in? Well, like Harrison said, anything that you know, like, and understand. You've got this $30,000+ sitting in cash value in your policy. What are you going to use that for? Well, let's just start with something that we all have to do, like buying cars. We're all going to buy cars, okay? You're never going to drive the same car. Well, I guess Warren Buffett seems to have driven the same Cadillac for a long time, but most of you are not like Warren. You're going to want a new car. So now you're going to use your policy and the infinite banking concept to buy cars. And when you do it that way, you get all the money back for every single car you buy, drive, and own. Okay, but also, what if you bought more than one car and you started Turoing the one? What if you made it a family business, involved your kids in that? Well, these are all things that I'm not just telling you could be done. These are things that are being done by our clients. And all our clients did, folks, is changed one thing, and that was how they used money, where their money went first, and they followed exactly what we just showed you. The choice is yours. The system, being the vault, that software will guide you. You no longer have to create elaborate spreadsheets or try to figure this out on your own. The software helps guide you. You use Christie's videos, fantastic, on YouTube. Those videos give you the guidance for the Velocity Banking. And Harrison, you just get on the phone with him. His number and his contact is right up in the description. You see, building wealth through your own debts and expenses is exactly what we just showed you. Yet nobody has ever showed this to you. Think about that. You're building wealth through your own debts and expenses to the tune of the 8.6% you were giving away. How is that not a smart idea? Well, I think it's a really smart idea. And I think all of you should really consider starting this process. And that process starts with applying this strategy. So as we come to the end of this video, I think all of you know what has to happen. You got to start.
You have the tools. You've been asking yourself for years, how can I get out of debt? How can I get ahead? And how can I start investing? Well, all the tools are here, but it's up to you to step through. My name is Chris Naugle, and if you are looking for more ways to start your family business, maybe starting with a Turo, click right here. Yeah, over there. My name is Chris Naugle, and I'll see you on the next video.
The power got